Food addiction is a real problem these days. The fast food culture is taking over everyone's life. Food is becoming cheaper and more accessible. With the average per-day calorie consumption increasing worldwide, more and more people are suffering from the ill effects of being overweight. If you think you have a few pounds to lose, then wait until you see the people on this list. These are the most overweight people in the whole world. You won't believe it until you see them. If you want to enjoy more great content in the future, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell. Number 10. Aria Pomana. Being overweight from a young age is traumatic since it takes away a lot about being a child. You won't have the energy nor the physique to engage in anything strenuous. Aria Pomana had a tough childhood. At age 10, he was already at 423 pounds, and it wasn't easy living with that kind of weight around so young. Living a regular life of a kid his age was impossible. He couldn't go outside and play, go to school or any kind of normalcy that would make him feel like a 10-year-old that he was. Instead, he spent most of his time staying at home and eating and just chilling at the pool outside his home. So how did he end up becoming so huge? Well, his typical diet in a day was 6 packs of instant noodles, fried chicken and fizzy drinks. He ate this each day, every day, and shot up to his current weight over the years. Luckily, Aria wanted to make changes to his life and decided to do a 180 and started eating fish and vegetables. He even underwent a gastric sleeve surgery and currently weighs 189 pounds. That's a 234 pound difference. Great job, Aria. Number 9. Stewart. Certain life events can be a trigger behind a person's unnatural weight gain. This could be a traumatic incident like a loss of a dear one or unemployment or just depression. People generally fall for the trap of using food as comfort to combat these stressful life events and end up making things worse. Stewart had a similar story. We were introduced to the world of Drew and his cousins Naomi and Chatoka through the TLC series Family by the Ton. At age 43, Drew weighed around 700 pounds. He wore a size 18X t-shirt and mostly lived inside his home. He didn't measure his weight in over 10 years, and when he finally decided to get it checked, the scale wasn't able to register it. He was that overweight. But this wasn't the case always. Drew used to be an active kid who used to play basketball, football, swim, you name it, but he shot up in weight once he moved to Atlanta to care for his mum. And before he knew it, he was already morbidly obese. He decided to take control of his life when he realized that he couldn't take care of his mum anymore. With his newfound motivation, Drew lost weight and managed to reach his fitness goals as well. Good for him. Number 8. Chatoka Light. Weight gain can have a chain reaction on the people around you. People derive their sense of self from the company that they keep and the things they share in common. If being overweight in a group is considered normal and accepted, there's a strong possibility that others would also share the same sentiment and possibly put on weight. Stewart from earlier shared the same problem as his 2 cousins, and one of them is Chatoka Light. At 49 years old, Chatoka weighs an incredible 680 pounds, and this has resulted in her being completely bedridden for 3 years. That's 3 years of not getting out of the bed for anything. Can you imagine living like that, even for a day? Probably not. She was depressed and felt that her own body was like a prison made of flesh. Because of her circumstances, Chatoka finally decided to do something about it. At first, she inquired about getting a weight loss surgery, but doctors cautioned her that at her current weight, it's a risky move. So, Chatoka decided to lose some weight by training with a personal trainer at home. She lost weight over time and was even able to step out of her home after years. The whole moment was supported by her friends and family, and she felt happier than she had for a long time. Chatoka was finally approved for the weight loss surgery by her doctor. Number 7. Octavia Gahangas. There are far too many stories of overweight people who are prisoners to their own bodies. It's a sad reality, but it is certainly a disease of our times. If unhealthy food and convenience is removed from the picture, there would be far fewer cases of obesity, especially the morbid kind. Similar to Chatoka, Octavia Gahangas had a very restricted life. She was stuck to her bed for a year and weighed a massive 692 pounds. Because of her weight and size, she wasn't able to travel anywhere. When she finally decided to get herself back in shape, she had to be transported on a mattress on a specially designed van to take her to the doctor's office. A group of EMTs also followed her in case anything went wrong. Once she was at the doctor's office, she was weighed in and was approved for a gastric bypass surgery. From 692 pounds, she managed to come down to 236 pounds. That's an impressive feat. Number 6. Juan Pedro Franco. So far, you've seen men and women who weighed in the higher three-digit range. While these figures are high, there is one person who'll make these numbers look like they're nothing. Meet the heaviest man in the world, Juan Pedro Franco, weighing in at an astounding 1,312 pounds at the age of 32 years. Because of his massive size and weight, he was completely bedridden. That, coupled with diabetes and blood pressure issues, made his condition much worse. There was even a blockage in one of his lungs, which forced him to depend on an external oxygen supply on a daily basis. Franco finally decided that he wanted to make changes and started to eat healthier. He went on a Mediterranean diet but was asked not to exercise because of his size. He was finally approved for gastric sleeve surgery in May 2017 and 6 months later for a gastric bypass surgery. Thanks to these procedures, he was able to reduce his stomach size significantly and lost around 500 pounds in just 18 months. By November 2018, he weighed 671 pounds, more than half his weight before the procedures. What a transformation. Number 5. Francis Serrano. Good thing that medical science has come a long way. Weight troubles can be more or less fixed with procedures provided that you're willing to make lasting lifestyle changes. Francis Serrano is a 28-year-old man who struggled with his weight for a long time. Weighing more than 500 pounds, he came to the realization that he might just die from a heart attack and decided to turn things around. Apart from fixing his lifestyle, Francis opted for a gastric bypass surgery, which reduced the size of his stomach to that of a shot glass, to which his intestines were also connected. The complication rate of this procedure is very low, but there is still a 1 in 100 case where a patient doesn't make it out of it alive. Francis came out of the surgery fine and stuck to his new lifestyle while losing a lot of weight in the process. He hopes to live a more productive and healthier life from now onwards. Number 4. Ashley Don Bratcher. People who struggle with excess weight can't fulfill their roles as parents or spouses. Their body doesn't allow them to lead a normal life and they become completely dependent on the family for day-to-day needs. Ashley Don Bratcher is a 27-year-old mum who weighed 725 pounds. Being a young mum carrying that kind of weight around meant she couldn't be a regular mum to her 5-year-old son Patrick. The story gets sadder because Ashley has to rely on her young son for everything, but being a good kid, he would diligently help his mum for all her requests. It's heartbreaking to see him running around to help his mum. Ashley felt the same, and it motivated her to lose weight so she could give Patrick a childhood back. She lost around 123 pounds within the first month of her weight loss journey, and then was eligible for a gastric bypass procedure which further brought down her weight by 450 pounds. At least now, Patrick can be more of a kid than a caretaker to his mum. Number 3. Diana Bunch. Regardless of how bad your weight condition is, with enough will and dedication you can bring down the pounds to a healthy level. Diana Bunch from Seattle proved this when she appeared on TLC's My 600 Pound Life. The 54-year-old at her peak weighed in at 620 pounds and was in a lot of pain. But despite her difficulty, she remained optimistic over the years. She went for a gastric sleeve surgery along with a healthy diet, all of which culminated in her losing 265 pounds and finally settling on her goal weight of 195 pounds. We should learn from her success and remind ourselves that where there's a will, there's a way. Number 2. Kirsten Perez. If you've seen the TLC series My 600 Pound Life, then you've probably met Kirsten Perez. This 38-year-old mother from Longview, Washington weighed 612 pounds when she first came on the show. Her weight became a hindrance with daily activities and she couldn't even fit inside her car. Disheartened, Kirsten decided to seek the help of obesity specialist and surgeon Dr. Juan Nausaradan. He agreed to help Kirsten only if she's able to lose 50 pounds in a month. Motivated by Dr. Yunan's promise, Kirsten got to work. But her progress wasn't easy, mostly because her son would do things to sabotage her efforts. He would eat junk food around her and often make fun of her for being overweight. It's a sad situation, and having her own son behave in such a way is heartbreaking. But Kirsten didn't give up and managed to lose 49 pounds by the end of the month. Within a year, she lost about 170 pounds and reached 442 pounds of total weight. I think her son definitely owes her an apology now. Number 1. Charity Pierce. Like Franco from earlier, Charity Pierce was at one point the heaviest woman in the world and weighed a massive 778 pounds. Her weight issues have been with her all throughout her life, with her being over 500 pounds even as a teenager. Her doctors had advised her to go on a diet and exercise, but unfortunately, Charity met with an accident in 2000, which severely limited her mobility. From then, her weight went up until she met Dr. Yunan Nausardan on My 600 Pound Life. He helped her in bringing down her weight to 650 pounds, and soon after that, a gastric surgery was performed. Dr. Yunan also had to remove the massive deposits of fat on her legs, which weighed 57 pounds on their own. As of today, Charity weighs 278 pounds and is still losing more. Amazing. Well, those were some of the most overweight people in the world. Who shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And before you leave, be sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. Goodbye.